It's such a beautiful day. It's time to hang up some of my laundry. There's nothing like hanging your wash out in the morning. I like to get up before everyone else is. It's so peaceful and quiet. Hanging your wash out saves you so much money. People ask me all the time, why are there no rings on your fingers? Are you really married, or are you just saying you're married? No, there's no rings on my fingers, and I think you're going to be fascinated by my story of why I have no rings, and the product review that's going to bring back so many amazing memories. In the Mennonite tradition, they didn't wear wedding rings, but oh, that's not why I don't have a ring. My story is a little more complicated than that. In fact, at one time, I did have a wedding ring, but it was only for about a month. When I was 17, I got married, and I had a beautiful wedding ring my husband gave me, and I loved that wedding ring. But then I got pregnant, and when I got pregnant, my hands started to swell up. So my mother-in-law, she thought it would be great for me to get my ring resized. Being a young woman, and I wasn't even done growing yet, to be honest with you, the ring no longer fit. So she put it in a teacup and was going to take it to get it resized. Well, the weeks passed and the months passed, and I never got my ring resized. One day I said to her about my wedding ring, and she was horrified that she couldn't find it. She simply couldn't find my ring. She misplaced it and never found it. I never found my wedding ring, and I never wore one. Simply fell into the role of being a wife and a mom with 3 small children and living on a farm, and we just didn't spend the $800 to get a new wedding ring. I've always wanted that ring, and I know my mother-in-law felt so bad for it. A lot of times when I tell the story, people will say to me, well, didn't she, buy you a new one? My mother-in-law was Mennonite, so she didn't even have a wedding ring. The importance to her of a wedding ring, well, there was none. And I don't think she thought much of it. I don't think she thought it was a big loss. She was really, really sad that she lost it, but I don't think she put any value in it. So I never had a ring. In fact, most of you who are really observant, my ears are pierced, but I don't wear earrings. I don't wear jewelry much, except for occasional necklace that a subscriber has either bought me or made for me. This one, a beautiful subscriber made for me. And so I don't wear a lot of jewelry. And I got an email from a company, Lane Woods, and they said, hey, would you want to do a product review on a necklace? To be honest with you, in the past I said no, because I thought, well, it's not very practical. I was always such a practical person. But at age 52, I started really enjoying some nice things. I never did. I never had jewelry. I never dressed up. But I started enjoying some different shoes and some product reviews like that. So they said I could pick out a necklace. So I picked out this necklace because I'm not very fancy type of person. As you see, I like a lot of urban stuff, but I thought this was really pretty. It's just green, just, a little thing. I don't know what it is. And I thought, okay, that's once and done with. I was never going to share with you the story of my ring or anything like that. Then they got back to me and said, could you please pick out a ring too? And I'm like, a ring? I don't have rings. Like, my hands are not very pretty. I don't wear rings. And so I was going through all of it. It was kind of fun because I'm thinking, all those years ago when I had a ring and didn't have it. And I picked out a ring, and there's a reason I picked out this one. Like I said, I don't like a lot of diamonds and things like that. I don't know much about jewelry, so I picked out this one. And this is gonna be my wedding ring. So this is my wedding ring, and it says, "Forever Love." Then he said to me, "What size do you wear?" And I'm like, I have no idea. He probably thought that I am the dumbest person in the world because I didn't know my ring size. I don't know what size I wear. So I said a size 9. I thought, wait, 9's the size of my feet, so I'll go size 9. So everyone, here is my wedding ring. It fits me perfect, size 9. So that is my wedding ring, and it says "Forever Love" on it. I won't wear it a lot of the times because I'm always busy working with my hands. My hands are not very pretty. I'll be the first one to tell you that. When I do thumbnails, I try to hide my hands. People often used to make fun of my hands. I work. You know, I don't just sit around and, you know, I can get my nails done and stuff. I have to work. And so my hands are not very nice. I have short, fat fingers like my mom did. But now I have a wedding ring, and that's my wedding ring. I don't want to show my hands too much. I know you're all gonna say, "Tessie, your hands are just fine." But I'm gonna tell you just a little bit of story about hands. So there's my wedding ring. So yes, I'm married. I've only been married once. My husband for 35 years. I was married at 17 and he was 21. A child at 17, 18, and 19. My husband is the father of all 3 children. A grandma to a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. And I love life to its fullest. And so there's nothing too gossipy about my life. I'm just as benign as you can get. You know, my life has just been a very simple one, a very old-fashioned one, and a very traditional one. And that is the story of our marriage. And yes, I am married, and now I have a ring. The last thing I want to talk to you about is the story of hands. I think so many times we put the emphasis on our bodies. And like me, like just sitting here, I was telling you about how my hands aren't very pretty. You know, and I hide my hands when I do my thumbnails. I try to go like this and like this to hide my hands. My mother-in-law was a simple woman like me. She did cooking and cleaning. She was a homemaker. She never worked outside the home. My mother-in-law and my grandma were just like me. And other than the fact that I make a YouTube channel. But as far as their home life, it was just like me. And that's all I've known. And my mother-in-law often talked about her hands and how her hands weren't very pretty. And she would see women her age that, you know, had their nails done and their hands were very pretty. And I often thought about that. And the day my mother-in-law died, see, my mother-in-law was like a best friend to me because I was married so young. The day my mother-in-law died and then her funeral, I went past the coffin and I looked at her hands. And on her hands, on this finger here, had lots of ridges. It was lots of little ridges in her hands. That's all I can explain it. There were little marks. And that, my friends, was because she peeled a lot of potatoes in her life. And peeling her potatoes with her knife caused her hands to have these marks. And I looked at her hands and I just cried. And I thought she had the most beautiful hands that any woman has ever had. Because with each peeling of those potatoes, she was giving love to others. She made many meals for other people. She fed her family. She fed her family. She never had a daughter and always said that I was like a daughter to her. She had 4 boys and she did a lot of cooking. So when I think about ugly hands, I think about my mother-in-law. And you know what? My hands have a lot of stains and marks on them. My hands have a lot of notches in them. That's from working. And I pray someday somebody will look at my hands and feel blessed and say, there was a woman who did a lot of work. So my friends, ugliness is something that is superficial, because for some people what may be very ugly and make fun of Tessie's hands may actually be extremely beautiful to some others. Let's remember that when we look at our bodies, or when we talk about people, or when people talk about us. Let's remember that every flaw, every scar has a story, and we can turn those into beautiful blessings instead of what we think may be curses. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.